welcome to Game Plus Unmuted. My name's Jared, and I would like to start with an acknowledgement of country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we're meeting on today. For me and those of us in the ACT, that is the Ngunnawal people. I acknowledge and respect their contribution, their continuing culture, and the contributions they make to the life of this city and this region. I'd also like to acknowledge and welcome all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who may be joining us today from every other area of Australia. Thank you. So Game Plus Unmuted is a streaming video series that we've been doing for a little while now, and we are here to amplify the voices of developers and people in the games industry across Australia, and we've had international guests as well. So today, helping me on the tech side is my colleague Oscar.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Oscar.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. So Oscar's going to be handling all the back-end stuff. So when videos and links and things come up like that, we've got some audience questions that have already been asked, so we'll bring those up as well. Yeah, anything you want to add, Oscar? Do you want to tell us a little bit about the flexible memberships, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the other things we're trying to promote through Game Plus Unmuted is something that we've all worked quite hard on. That's the flexible memberships. It's basically a wonderful way to connect with our space while, you know, not necessarily needing a dedicated spot. So you can connect with our virtual and our physical community for as low as $20 a month, which is such great value. And yeah, say if, you know, development's more part-time or something more of a hobby, and you don't have the sort of the money to invest in a business with a full membership, but you still want to be part of our community, flexible membership is a wonderful example for that. And yeah, I'm super duper excited to be on the tech side. I love interviewing, but getting around to press all these cool fun buttons is going to be fun as well.
That's great, thank you. And you've got some cool, some cool content to bring up with that too, with our guest. For those looking to find out more about the flexible memberships, you can go to gameplus.com.au/flex. And yeah, we've got a Discord channel as part of our membership there, so you'd be able to get involved in that. We've got more than 300 members across Australia, including various award-winning studios, and lots of people on there to chat with and get feedback on your games and stay connected to the community. So hope to see you there sometime. Cool. All right. So without further ado, I think we will introduce our guest. Oscar's going to disappear off into the background as we welcome CJ.
Hello.
Thanks, Oscar. Hi, CJ. CJ from Ceej Games. Thanks for joining us.
No, happy to be here.
So you're one of our Game Plus members here in Canberra. Our topic today is solo development. So you've done that, but you've done some, some non-solo development as well. So without me rambling on too much, do you want to give us a little bit of background about just a brief overview of your development career and how you've gotten to here?
Oh, good. Yeah. Like most people in high school, liked video games quite a lot. So I thought, hey, let's do video games. And I remember an ad I used to watch as a kid for AIE. So after high school, enrolled right into AIE and did a 2-year advanced diploma in art and animation, which is where I met a lot of people who would soon become my team for when I'd enter Incubator and GDML.
That's the graduate diploma.
Yeah, graduate diploma of management and learning.
Great. And
realistically, my development started, game development for me started during high school. I begged my older brother to buy me a copy of Game Maker Studio, and then I spent the next 700 hours up until the end of high school just churning out all these different games to genres I loved. I made Tetris clones, I made Castlevania clones, I made little piano apps. So I got bit by the bug pretty hard in high school. So when I went over to AIE, it was just absolutely fantastic. Got to learn more about the pipeline of game development. So how to make models, how to make assets, how to go through making, well, games, as it were. And
Yeah.
after AIE, coming to into the incubator and Game Plus facility, that's where development finally became, I guess, real. Like, what's the term? Out of the oven into the fryer. And it was, at the beginning, it went really, it went okay. Like, we managed to churn out a few games, which some of them were actually pretty fun too. But one of the issues was that, and you'll see this quite a lot in any game development or any team-based field, there was issues arising with scheduling and deadlines and motivations, and then people in the team were butting heads, and so it kind of just the team dissipated, and it was at that dissipation that everyone kind of had a path that they could go down. So some went and got jobs in programming, others went and did things completely outside of game dev. For me, the choice was, do I want to go back to working in a warehouse in Fishwick at 4 a.m, or do I want to see if I can, well, be a solo developer, which was a big decision to make.
Yeah, definitely.
Trained primarily as an artist. The only reason I knew I could attempt solo dev was all those little games I made back in high school, which taught me about, well, the pipeline.
Okay, that's interesting. So if you just on that part, if people who feel like they're in, say, all art or all programming, let's just talk about artists for now. If they're looking to dabble in other aspects of game development, are there any tools or any ways that they could get into it that you recommend?
Let's see. For art, I recommend getting yourself a tablet, a Wacom tablet. I saved up all the money I was made working at Kmart to buy myself a decent Wacom tablet, and then had to reteach myself drawing to actually use the darn thing. But that has just, even today, it pays off every day with the skills I learned from using a tablet. If you don't have access to a tablet, like when I first started, try pixel art. I literally just started off making characters in MS Paint and then saving them over and then putting them into the engine.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. And for the artists out there, I guess, like if they're looking to try their hand at doing a bit of, like, putting those assets into a game, doing a bit of programming or design, any recommendations there?
I recommend getting a basic understanding of programming, starting off with just pseudocode. But yeah, find an engine you like. For some people, it's Unity or Unreal. For me, I like 2D pixel-based games, so I chose Game Maker. Some people, you can even start off with RPG Maker. But just looking up plenty of tutorials, and making some very small little test projects that'll get you into the flow and the understanding of how to, essentially, if you make something, how to make it move.
Yeah, cool.
Programming was definitely the hardest kind of thing for me to learn while becoming a solo dev, but it also gave me the freedom to say, if I want something done, like I need something made, I need something to interact with something, I have the skills now to make that movement happen.
Okay, awesome. That's really cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess from there, I'll see if you can only pick one, but what is your favorite thing about being a solo dev compared to, I guess, I mean, maybe compared to being a dev in a team? Yeah, favorite thing. You can pick one.
Well, I guess to sound like a 40-year-old whimsical aunt, it's about building worlds. I really enjoy getting into an engine, making all the assets, and starting to like set up essentially a snapshot of a breathing world, essentially small towns or like barren caves or lava flows.
Yeah.
Just making a living, breathing world that you can interact with is by far the thing that really gets me hyped about making games.
Yeah, cool. And as a solo dev, you're involved in every aspect of that rather than programming that world or the art for that world or the design of that world. You're doing the whole shebang, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. I love world building too, and yeah, that's interesting having a hand on all of it. So that's one of your favorite things. You already touched on this in our short chat so far, but what are some of the? I want to know what are some of the unique challenges that you faced as a solo dev in particular, like that you may not have had to face when there was a team around, or even in game jams or something like that. But as a solo dev, yeah, what are some unique challenges?
So as a solo dev, you're essentially a one-man band. So you are going to face problems with every instrument you play. But some of the biggest problems were having to learn whilst I'm making the game in real time, because you've set yourself a deadline and you've got something and you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do that task. So you just got to learn on the go how to do that task, and then eventually learn how to do that task better the second time, how to make it cleaner, how to make it faster. Because like once you get into programming, you realize that you can do something, but there are ways to do that thing better or easier or more that can help you out in the future. So like so many different iterations, whether it's art or iterations on your code or iterations on your design. It's like making a big sheet of lasagna and you're just going over and going over. There's so many things.
Yeah, and all by yourself. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that actually folds into to an audience question we got from one of our Discord members. So Kay on our Discord asks, how do you schedule different types of tasks, so art, design, programming, etc., to make sure that one part of the game doesn't fall too far behind the others? And thanks for the question, Kay.
Yeah. Cheers, Kay. So that's a rough one.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to leave that to the end, but let's jump into it.
Let's see, because the way development for my first product, Bounce Night, went is it was make a character. Okay, we need to make him move. We've made him move. Let's make him jump. We've made him jump. Let's make him throw his sword. That's not working. Let's try something else. So a lot of it was I would start off with usually just a square. I'd make a square and I would start programming in what I wanted that square to do. So I was essentially starting with programming first, at least with a lot of the assets in the game. Started off as just a simple square that I would assign values and properties to. Then down the line, I would give it a rough artwork.
Yeah.
And then further down the line, I'd give it like clean artwork, good animations. And once I knew it was good and it worked in the level, then I was good to have that as an asset that I would plop into other levels. Scheduling for Bounce Night was based more on level by level, stage by stage. I think a lot of developers tend to schedule their things stage by stage, which is once I got the core gameplay mechanics down in the one test room, and I had to schedule out making a game. I spent the first segment just working on making 50 to 70 levels. And they were all basic, no art, but more so that they were just fun to play, fun to interact with.
Yeah.
So would design the levels, then I would design the hub. So the place you keep going back to, the place where you can put all your skills towards and get all the things. And then last bout was boss fights. So I would start off with a square, assign properties to it, and basically interact with those properties and put them in phases, and then start applying artwork and then cleaner artwork and animations and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely in compartments, and I think as a solo dev, it's really important to not give yourself a huge thing that you're trying to do all these little things for. You've got to really set out these small individual tasks that lead to a bigger thing, essentially.
Yeah, right. No, that makes sense. And you're only accountable to yourself. You're not the publisher or anything at the time. Making sure you're keeping up with that, and that makes sense as well. Having sounds like the idea that you're talking about is starting simple, making sure that core gameplay loop is fun before you invest too much of the only developer's time in art and all that sort of thing.
If I could, since being a solo dev, if there's one thing I could say to a lot of upcoming devs, it's fun first. With your prototype, make sure it's fun and good to play before you build anything more onto it. Because a lot of developers and even AAA companies, they will build something and they're like, oh yeah, it'll get fun down the line. We just need to keep making things for it. And it's very rare that actually turns out well. So find the fun first and then develop on that.
I think that's great advice. And I think, fun first is a really good way of saying it. And I mean, then if you're making something that's not quite fun and then you're investing programming and design and art into that, you're kind of boxing yourself in a little bit, because you might be loath to change that art if it turns out that making it more fun needs you to do that, and that's wasted dev time as well, I suppose.
Time does get wasted. That's something you've just got to get used to. Some days you've had super optimized. You've gotten every task you've needed to get done, best day ever. Some days you're just hitting start and play over and over because the character is phasing into a wall and you don't know why, despite going through all the code 6 times. Turns out it was maybe the bounding box for an auspicious little pot was just way too big and was pushing the character outside of the level. Those are the days that happen more than they don't.
Yes. Okay. Well, on that note, let's see. We've got a trailer for Bounce Night, so that you've made. You made the trailer as well, is that right?
That is correct. Get multi-skilled as a solo.
So we'll have a look at that one. Okay, nice.
Oh, that makes me feel nostalgic for something earlier in the year.
Yeah, so long ago. Yes.
Oh,
cool. All right. So, I mean, that looked fun. I've played it, and I find it to be fun as well. I know a lot of people have, when you were developing it, you were doing it alone. You're here in the co-working space with us, so you were showing it off at our rush hour events and that sort of thing, like doing some closed play testing. How did you find, how did that help? How did being a solo, how did being around other people who aren't in your team still help you?
A lot of the time it was just giving me the drive to get things complete. If you've got good people around you, it actually helps you make good stuff, surprisingly. Just because you want to make something, you want to show it off. And for solo dev, you want people to playtest your thing out the butt. so much playtesting and having people around you, even if they're not in development, even if they're just family, getting them to play it because they've got different experiences and they're going to point out things that you yourself can't see because you're too invested. You've been like building it up from the ground up, so there are things that are occurring that you don't think about because it's been ever present in development, that you need that fresh perspective and the people around you to point those things out for you to be like, oh, wait, I should probably fix this or make this more intuitive. Why didn't I do that before? I don't know.
And like you said, getting that in early so that you're not, needing to retool a whole lot of stuff. Getting that playtesting in early, maybe when it's still grey boxed and all that sort of thing. Sounds like that's been pretty useful as well.
One battle that it's very hard to find a solo developer who doesn't face this, and it's the fear of wanting to show off the game, not even show off, but have someone else play it because you're like, it's not ready yet, it's not good enough. I'll continue to work on it till it's okay to show, and then suddenly months have gone down and you've not showed it off to a single person, and you don't know if, truthfully, you don't know if your game's fun or not for other people. It might be fun for you because you built it, but you don't know if it's fun for other people. And being able to take that step to show off your things to other people and have them play it and have fun with it or critique it is really important, especially with your earlier builds, so you can help better find the fun.
Yeah, awesome. That's great advice. And the longer you're holding it sort of close to your chest, the more that feeling is going to compound on itself, I guess, because, oh, well, now I've worked on it for 5 months, 6 months, a year, and I haven't shown it to anyone yet. It's got to be even better now. So yeah, show off early, show off often. Yeah, good advice. Cool. So we just saw the trailer. Do you want to tell us, can you give us the pitch for Bounce Night, and then we'll go into how you found that fun, like how you came up with the core mechanic?
Well, I can feel myself going.
Go back to that time.
Bounce Night is a 2D medieval platformer where your main mechanic is you can throw your sword into the wall, but then use your sword to trampoline into hard-to-reach areas. The mechanic was basically brought on by the Zorro, so the old TV serial that's been parodied by 1,000 things. As well as a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean, where it also made an appearance, which is someone throws their sword into a wall and they're able to jump off onto it. So the example I give to a lot of people is, remember that scene at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 1 where Jack Sparrow is about to be hanged and Orlando, whatever his name is, puts the sword into the post, and when he drops, he lands on the sword. It's like, yes, let's make a mechanic about that. And that was the core thing I wanted to make for Bounce Night, which is the ability to use your sword, but to throw it and boing, trampoline off into different areas. So at the base, that was the core I wanted to work with.
And I mean, that idea by itself, sticking to a fairly small but interesting starting concept like that. When did you know that was fun, or when did you think, before showing it to other people, I guess, like how did you find that fun to start with?
Basically, as a solo dev, you're finding these little nuggets of an interesting mechanic, essentially. So something I picked up from one of my teachers back at AIE was, you can make a whole game based off one simple mechanic, because as long as that mechanic's fun, you can make a whole game off of it. And so the bounce mechanic came about when I was working with my team at the time on a different project, and we were going through different abilities. And one of the abilities was that you could shoot a laser beam, but you could then hop onto that laser beam and ride it out.
Yes.
And that was the initial spark for a projectile, which you can interact with in the physical world space. And so I thought of that, and I went home and loaded up GameMaker and yeah, I try to make that mechanic of throwing a sword into a wall and bouncing off of it. Could not get it right to save my life. But over 2 weeks and having to relearn algebra, I managed to get it the way, I managed to get it to where it felt fun. And I'm like, oh, I've got something here. I'll just put it away because I'm working on this with my team on this project, and maybe down the line I'll get to it. And self-fulfilling prophecy, but that did become the case. Once the team dissipated, I had this little nugget, this little game idea, and I'm like, oh, well, let's delve into this. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's see if we can make a whole game out of it.
And yeah, sticking to that core mechanic like that, I mean, a lot of the classic, arcade games and Mario and things like that. Yeah, it's Jumpman. It's they do one thing and they do it really well, and then iterate and expand on that, but not adding millions of other things in. Yeah, focusing on that, I think, is a cool way of also keeping your scope in check and keeping that one fun thing and spinning out new fun things from it. That leads me on to when you then did spin off into your own business. I mean, as well as making a game, it's a business. You had to start your own business, so that is its own unique challenge as well. Tell us a little bit about that, and anything you wish you had known before starting solo dev, or that the people out there who are looking to do a similar thing, maybe spinning off from their team or going it alone to start with, what you might recommend to them.
I'd recommend to those who are willing to start their own solo development, probably the most important things are, one, that you have a passion to basically push through adversity. You've got to be willing to take on all the responsibility. That's a big one. It's also very liberating, but it's also very stressful. And for starting your own business, if you live in Australia, get an ABN. They're free and they're really cool. They'll make you feel like a big business person.
That's true.
But yeah, just find a name that you jive with, that you think's cool. Register that name. There are so many people who, if they see you have something and don't have the name, they will grab it and sit on it. So if you find a name you like, register it. And all of this is still very cheap, very affordable, especially if you're lower socioeconomic.
Yeah, and just something be doing at the start. There, like you said, it makes you feel like you are a business, but these are things that a business needs to do anyway. Yeah. And when you start thinking thinking of yourself, I guess, as a business rather than, oh, I'm just messing around making a game, I guess, as a hobby. When you think of it as a business, I suppose that starts changing your thinking around marketing and becoming profitable and sustainable and motivated, all that sort of thing. Do you think?
Oh, definitely. The moment you've essentially got it as a business, it becomes real. It stops feeling like a little hobby that you're doing at the side. It's like, okay, this is my foot forward to the wider world. This is saying, here I am, I'm making something now. So I'd definitely say, if you're really serious about being a solo dev, but starting up a business is just really important.
Yeah.
It helps make it feel real, and it helps you push through and have something to show off and be able to stand and say, hey, I'm an independent business owner and I'm making this product. And you'll realize that people really connect with that and really want to help you. Like they wanted to help you before, but now that they see you're really that you're a business, they're so willing to help out and offer advice and point you in the right direction for things. Building up that network is so important to being able to push through getting everything set up. And yeah, starting a small business, I would very much recommend that at some point in their life, everyone starts their own business, because you learn so much
Mm.
just from having a business.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That's yeah, really good to share. You when we've chatted about your business, you've mentioned Nice as well.
Nice. So Nice is the I'm going to kill game.
It's a new enterprise incentive scheme. I'll throw myself in front of that. I think I got it right.
Hey, thank you for taking that bus. But really,
Mhm.
Nice was a godsend. So I originally applied for it back before I started Bounce Night, because someone mentioned that, oh yeah, some game developers have also applied for it. And so I called up and I said, hey, I'm an independent solo dev. I'm looking to make a game, and I would like to see if I can put something forward to go on the Nice program. And I was shot down pretty hard at the start, actually. So they've had game devs before. And if you know game devs, getting a product done is difficult. So they've been burnt out a few times. So when I mentioned I was a game dev, they're like, hey, that's
A little nervous, yeah.
they're a little nervous, and they're like, look, this your chances wouldn't be looking good if you're a game developer. We've been burnt out before. People say they're going to develop games, but a lot of the time they come through teams and it just burns right away, and it doesn't look good for us. And that was very disheartening. But from that disheartenment, I took it as kind of kind of like a challenge, essentially. But like, okay, what can I prove to them to get on the program? So I spent the next 8 months building Bounce Night, so that once Bounce Night was real and ready to launch, I could approach them and be like, hey, I contacted you 8 months ago. Well, I've come back with a vengeance, and I've built a product. Here is, like, you're not paying for me to develop a product. You're paying for me to get this product as far as it can go.
It's
And
not just an idea at the moment. It's real, and yeah, help me to achieve this. Yeah, that's interesting. Coming with something that they can actually see as a product, like you mentioned earlier.
And they were very, very impressed that I had actually come back with a product. And they're like, yeah, put a petition forward. We'll weigh it up with all the other people who are applying for Nice. And I remember the event quite vividly. I was out at my friend's farm. We were just moving rocks and building armor, as you do out on a farm.
Sure.
And I get a phone call, and it's from Nice. And I thought it was them to just let me know. It's like, hey, it's thank you for applying, but we've gone with someone else, because it's all businesses. Nice is for anyone who has a good business idea.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, you've got Nice. We're going to send you some paperwork, some booklets. You're going to be doing a small business course, and then we'll be moving you on to getting the Nice grant, the Nice payments. And I was just in shock, really.
You did it.
It was such a win. It's like, hey, we believe in your product, and we're going to help push that product as far as it can go. And push, if you want to develop any other projects on the side, we're also going to, support you with that, because we want you to become a profitable small business owner.
Yeah, great.
And I would recommend anyone who's got a product, go for Nice. Go for Nice. They are like, it's helped out so much with keeping my business afloat and giving me personal milestones to achieve. Like being able to have those milestones and reach those financial goals, those marketing goals, those personal goals. You'll learn so much and become a proper business owner and be able to get into that mindset.
Yeah, and that motivation. Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, cool. I want to keep talking forever, but we're running up to our time, so I'll ask you. We've got one more audience question from Sean, from our Discord, one of our members here at Game Plus. So Sean asked, we've covered a little bit of this, but I'll ask it, seeing as Sean has asked it. Has becoming a solo dev, has it altered the way you think you'd work in a team now that you have a greater understanding of the design, marketing, art, and programming side of development? So if you were to go back into a team as a solo dev life, giving you insights into that?
I'd straight up say being a solo dev has given me a buttload more confidence to be. So if I was to approach a team, I'd be like, yeah, I can get this done, I can get this done, I can get this done. This might not be able to be done fast enough. I can get it done in this amount of time. If any issues arise, here's probably how we'll go about it. One issue I've also had is like working with a team, would there be a disparity of knowledge and confidence? Like, would I be too pushy? Would I be trying to take the projects? How would I be able to rein myself in and rein other people in who maybe are new to the experience? It's an interesting question, because when you become a solo operator, like a hunter living in the woods for a year, going back into, I guess, society and having to say be a hunter in the forest who then works an office job, it's going to be really difficult, because you've got that sense of independence, and I know how to work, but and do a task, but only as myself, essentially. So you become fiercely independent, which, yeah, I could see the issues that would develop trying to move from being fiercely independent to working in a team. But if you've got the mindset of being like wanting to get the task done, then I'm sure like it'd be difficult at first, but you could slot into that team and be able to have knowledge on factors that maybe your teammates didn't, and you'd be able to like learn from them new things you didn't know.
Yeah, 100%. And some self-awareness there, I think, kind of what you're getting at as well, can help with that. And you're developing a lot of that as a solo dev as well. So yeah. Awesome, cool. Well, I think we need to wrap up. Thank you, CJ. This has been really fun and really insightful. Is there anything that you'd like to promote, website, anything like that?
Yeah, I guess number one, I'd like to promote the old Ceej Game Twitter, just because I post all my stuff on there. I've also got the Ceej Games website, and that's just kind of a business thing. It's like, yes, I have a website. You can check it out. You can email me. Having a website and a company email is just important for being able to get in contact with more professional businesses. So you can contact me on my website, on my professional email address, or just shoot me a link.
Great.
Cool. That should be the old social links as it were.
Okay, awesome. And people can obviously find Bounce Night through there and grab it on Steam if they're keen.
True. You can find Bounce Night on Steam, Vox Pop Games, and hopefully itch.io when I can get all the bugs ironed out for that and get it launched on that.
Awesome, exciting, something to look forward to. All right, well, thank you. I will ask Oscar to come back up just as we wrap up. Hi, Oscar. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I think solo and really small teams is just so interesting to me. So I think like it's just one of those. I think solo game dev is just so interesting, especially when you compare it to like there's indie movie making, but there's so rarely solo movie making because it's so multifaceted. And I think I just love seeing the industry sort of swing between specialization and generalism and all that sort of stuff, and just being able to be sort of the jack of all trades and just being able to create something that is so personal and unique. And yeah, solo dev is just completely fascinating to me, and I think you shared some really good insights, so thank you so much.
Awesome.
That's what I'm here for. I'm always willing to help people out if they have any questions about, hey, I'm going it alone, what are some things I need to worry about?
Cool. All right, that's awesome. Very generous. Thank you. And yeah, they can reach out to you on your Twitter and so on from there. So cool. All right. Well, some brief plugs from us at the end. Yeah, if you would like to have a chat with us on Game Plus Unmuted, you can do so. Oscar's got a link for us there. I believe gameplus.com.au/getunmuted. And to join our community as well through our flexible membership or offices, hot desks. We've got spaces in Sydney, Adelaide, and Canberra. You can go to gameplus.com.au and join us there. Like Oscar said, the flexible memberships are as low as $20 a month. And we're talking to people across the industry, but we're also kind of shining the light on some people who have been working very hard and diligently as developers, who you might not have heard out there, but we are prioritizing our Game Plus members as well. So if you want to get a part of this and this community where CJ has been playtesting this game and developing it by himself, but amongst an environment of people going through similar things alone or as a team in a community, then that's a really cool way to do it. So cool. All right, that is everything from us. Thank you again so much, CJ. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Terrific. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Oscar. We'll see you all again next time. Thanks, everyone.